Well, it was a funny old game, really, because I was playing for a club called St Mary's, which was a youth club attached to the church in Shirehampton. Now, St Mary's only played evening games, 20 over games.
Okay.
Well, when I started work, I couldn't get home to be at a cricket ground for 6 o'clock or 6:30. So I realised if I wanted to carry on playing cricket, which I did, I would have to play for a club that played weekends. So I made up my mind in about 1958 it would be Twyford House Cricket Club. So I joined them in about late 58 and then properly in 1959. How I know that is Barb can remember doing the teas in 1959 because we were allocated a day we had to do the teas. And she did the teas down in Avonmouth, put all the sandwiches in a big oldall and came up with them on the bus. So she's never forgotten that, which won't let me forget it either. So I would say that I joined in 1959. Well, as a player, I think we just played friendlies until 1973, and then there was the Bristol and District Cricket Association put all the clubs in Bristol into leagues, and they said we're all going to play league cricket now, and they put Twyford House in Division 2, which was incredible considering we couldn't get fixtures with good clubs because they didn't want to play at a club like Twyford House, but we were put in a league with them, and that first season we finished about third in the league of Division 2 because we had a pretty good side. So that was probably my proudest thing. When we finished third in the league, it doesn't sound much of a thing to be proud of, but we were playing teams that were sort of every Saturday and Sunday that had been put in the sort of third or fourth division, and they put Twyford in the second division, and we finished about third, and all the club was as proud as punch to think we'd done so well, And that was really, I remember it well, thinking how well we'd done.
Yeah.
Well, there was three brilliant players. There was Derek Ford, Johnny Jones, and my son-in-law, Mark Wilson. Now, all three on their day were just incredible. They could have got in almost... Oh, and Alan Mathias, who was getting up that way, but he wasn't quite in the likes of Jones and Derek Ford. But I would say Derek Ford, the reason I say him, he did all his big run getting when our wickets were really poor. Like, as the club got better, the wickets got better as well. We'll come to that in a minute, but when Derek joined the club, and he joined it in 1959 with me from St Mary's, Twyford's cricket ground didn't have a roller. So it was just a strip cut on a field, and that was the wicket. And Derek Ford was getting at centuries against good bowling on those sort of wickets, and he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, Derek Ford would be the best.
Okay.
Well, this is easy to answer. It's a bloke called Pete Betteridge. Peter Betteridge. He started working with one of our players called Dennis Healy. Dennis Healy brought Pete Betteridge to Twyford because he was playing for Bedminster in those days. But he was going out with a girl from Shire, Pete Betteridge, so it suited him to play for Twyford. So he came and joined Twyford, and he virtually took over the club. He was brilliant. He reorganised the club from a bunch of lads playing cricket and having a drink together into a proper cricket team. Like he designed our badge. I don't know whether you can see that.
Yeah.
That's our badge, and Pete Betteridge designed that badge. He's these two things here are the unicorns on the top of the council house, the Bristol council house, and that thing there is on Penpole Point. It's like a sundial on Penpole Point. But he designed the badge, and he talked us all into getting blazers, and we all had blazers and badges, and he invented some club colours so we could all have cricket sweaters the same, like gold and yellow. No, not gold and yellow, blue and gold. Gold and blue. Yeah. But we changed from a bunch of mates having a game of cricket. We got quite a good side, mind, but he turned us into a club that looked like a bloody cricket club and behaved like a cricket club. And he also brought in things like he would field our best side on a Saturday. Whereas before, it was give everybody a game sort of thing, you know. Like, they'd leave Johnny Jones out, you know. But when Pete joined, it became the best team would always play on a Saturday, like our first team. Yeah. And then on Sundays, all right, you mix it up and try to give everybody a game. But he reorganised that club completely. And he did all sorts of things, like I think it was him who we used to play down at Claveren, and they had an old cricket club roller, and he organised us to buy that roller, and he got a lorry from the zoo to go down and bring the roller back to Twyford, you know, what he used to carry elephants in, things like that. But he was a terrific bloke. He really changed Twyford House. There was a series of things in the 60s, from say, like when I joined in 1959-60, through to about we got put into the Division 2, things went wrong at Twyford House Cricket Club. Now, our first thing that went wrong was our changing rooms in the early 60s was a wooden hut on the other side of the ground, on the far side of the ground, as you know it, from where our changing room is, where our clubhouse is now. It was a wooden hut, and it had pokey little showers, but we thought it was all right. We used to get changed in there and play, but somebody burnt that down in 1966, I think that was. They burnt this old wooden pavilion down. And the council said there's no way they can build anything to repair a wooden hut like that. They called it a wooden hut, which it was really a wooden hut. Yeah. They said they'd build us a single-story changing room where it is now, where our bar is. But they can't do that till next year. So you'll have to give up or do what you like. But we got a tent from somewhere, like a little circus tent. And we used to put this tent up this is the rest of that season and the next season, to play, to get changed in. Well, you imagine putting a bloody tent up on a wet, cold day in June, you know, when you don't know whether the game's going to be. But we did. We put a tent up every home game, because there was a second team by then as well. But it was really hard work. So that was one disaster. We thought it might write the club off. We thought people wouldn't want to come and play and put a bloody tent up, and I got to do that, you know. Well, that was one thing that went sort of wrong. And then we had a bit of a groundsman called Vin Brawl. He retired, and the council said to us, you're going to have to, if you're going to continue playing here, you're going to have to do the work on the ground, prepare your wickets and cut the outfield and pay for the petrol and, you know. And then, well, that became a bit of a job. We had to ask for volunteers, you know, and when we got volunteers to work on the ground. And that was at the time when we bought the roller. So not only did the council gave us some old mowing machines, which were absolute bloody, the oldest, tattiest things you've ever seen in your life. And I was working at British Aerospace at the time, and I took these mowers into the tool room, got them to strip it all down and replace the blades and, well, getting the mowers back up to some sort of shape. And we had the roller, so our wickets gradually, it quite improved.
Yeah.
In fact, it got to a point where our wickets were, well, you'd say was good. It was, but it was those sort of things that the club overcame in times of stress and problems, and we all worked together. We all volunteered. There was nobody said, "Ah, no, piss off! I ain't gonna cut the bloody wickets." It was all done quite good. And we had an umpire, a bloke called Bill Reddins. He was a Labour councillor, and he used to play, and he stayed with the club because he liked us. But he was a Labour councillor, and he was always arguing and shouting and mouthing it off, and a typical, well, we used to say to him, Bill, he was a Labour councillor, but he bought his council house, and he voted Tory, but he was still a bloody Labour councillor. But he was umpiring one day, and Bill Reddins, nothing was ever straightforward with Bill. He was umpiring, and he was the square leg umpire.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of getting back the length of a cricket pitch, he was only about 10 yards, with his hands in his pockets with his six pennies, And somebody bowled a long hop, and I don't know the batsman went poke really. He turned around and smacked it at the square leg, and Reddings went like that. He lifted his elbow, and the ball hit him right on his bloody elbow. And you never, well, I thought we killed him. The way he screamed, and you'd never heard anything like it in your life. And one of the lads walked up to Reddings and said, "I don't know what you're doing on the ground, Bill. You're on the elbow, not your bloody knee." See, Reddings was screaming and shrieking. You never heard anything like it. Well, my size was bloody aching. I've never forgotten when Reddings got hit on the bloody elbow. Well, Twyford House has been my life, and I don't regret doing it. It's been marvellous.